Hello, welcome to another edition of In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. I am James Lott Jr. And of course, this is my video edition, which if you're listening to us podcast-wise, hello, podcast listener, you'll be able to find this. You know there's a video. Right now there's video because a lot of us are sitting at home, not able to do the jobs we really want to do. So I'm talking to everybody. I'm doing it by video, by Zoom. Thank you, Zoom meeting. I wish I bought stock in you.
Right.
And so I'm glad. But I brought you a great person. He's an ad writer, copywriter. He's an author of a book called, I'll make sure I get the book out there, The Adventures of Little Kenny, Volume 1, Kenny Finds Basketball. He wrote it with Joshua Timmons, who did the illustration, and Kenny Anderson. And that's out. You get that everywhere. And so I want to bring up my friend, Eddie Babaian. Hi, Eddie.
How are you, sir? How you doing?
Good talk about what he has his drink. He is ready drinking the cognac in that glass.
Yeah, this was I'm using these glasses in particular. My grandma, God rest her soul, she bought these for my parents' their like 10th wedding anniversary, which would have been almost 40 years ago. So I just drink it as like a cheers to her.
You know, I do a late night talk show on IGTV, and I was drinking out of my mother's glass that had like the gold leaf around it and stuff.
Really? Awesome.
Oh yeah, like 40, 50 years ago. I was like,
right.
How you don't really do that anymore, do you? Like, we don't really have that kind of glassware like that anymore.
I mean, I have particular like, whiskey glasses and these glasses that I've bought in the past, but I don't know. It just feels even more nostalgic with it. I don't know why it's nostalgic. Not like I drank cognac when I was 10 years old. But
don't you? I know it's like if you were in your 30s and 40s or whatever back then, you would have drank out of that.
Absolutely.
I think of my grandfather who had a cigar in his mouth at all times and a drink in a hand all the time, and the glasses were always very fancy. They were heavy glasses too back then. I mean, they're like
it's real crystal, so they're heavy.
It's for real, not for play, as we say.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that kind of stuff. So first, I always ask everybody, how are you doing during this whole, you and, your girl and everybody, how's everybody doing?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Doing fine. This whole quarantine thing is really weird. I'm kind of I don't want to say an isolationist by trade anyway. I mean, it's actually kind of weird because I'm very social, but
not with him. You say he's social. He's a social guy.
You know what I mean? But I also do enjoy my alone time, if you will. And periodically, being a writer, I'm in advertising. I work in an agency, but periodically I will work from home, and I enjoy working from home. But only when it's on my terms.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? Well, because anytime I work from home, I don't work at home. I go to the coffee shop like in Pasadena, so it's like, I'm like literally outside. I get my coffee and kind of people watching and cranking and doing my thing. Being at home is just, I don't know. It's nice, but it's not at the same time. It's just kind of weird.
I like having separation of home and work sometimes. I like to go, like I said, whether it's going to a coffee shop or a friend, I like to go somewhere. Then I come home, and home is home.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. So like that's been the hardest thing to kind of adjust to, is that like every little thing, it's all kind of molded together.
It's all together, yeah.
But and while nobody knows exactly when the end of the tunnel is, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we will get there. It's one of those things where everyone just got to weather the storm, and if everyone does their part, we'll be out of this thing sooner than later. I don't know if you saw that thing with Samuel L. Jackson today.
I love it. I mean, I live for
it. Hilarious. And he's right. Just stay the F at home.
Exactly.
Like I was telling people, I'm like, this is the one time when, like, all you have to do is nothing. That's literally all you have to do.
Exactly.
Is be a couch potato or whatever it is. Get your stuff done. But no, I mean, I'm just my biggest struggle has been workout wise. Like I work out, I'm working out from home and going for a walk and all that stuff, but I still play basketball like 4 days a week, and I'm a sports junkie. So no basketball or sports on TV, and going to the gym, because the gym is not just a workout thing. Playing basketball, it's a very social interaction, messing around with the guys. You see them on a nightly basis. That's like the basketball court is kind of my sanctuary in that way. So that for that reason, it's been a little bit difficult, but I'm getting creative. That's what we got to do. Have you heard of Pluto TV?
Yes, I have it on my TV. I don't know,
but
I have it on there.
Yeah, it's great. So like so then they have a whole channel dedicated to American Gladiators.
Exactly.
I swear I've been watching that because it's like, and it's given me some sort of like twofold, the nostalgia of like, oh man, I loved the show when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Plus, like I need to see something that has some sort of level of competition and like sports related.
Yes.
So just been doing that,
I
man.
thought
But,
it was because there's no basketball, no baseball. There's like no sports. Because for me, I'm a football fan. It ended. I mean, football ended, and okay, I'm
yeah,
good. But the rest of you guys, like other sports, there's nothing.
right.
Nothing.
It was funny. It was funny. Like, was it last week or I think it was last week or the first week. I don't remember. I was like, I took a break and I was eating my lunch. So I turned on the TV and I put on ESPN and I was flipping through and it was showing professional bowling. And I'm like, all right, well,
sure,
it's bowling now. It's sports. Let's go. Roll the crap out of that thing, bro. Let's go. And then the guy commentating was like, and he was like, well, we actually just got word that, this whole thing's affecting us too. So this will be the last tournament for a while. And I'm just like, are you serious? So you're taking away my bowling now too?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So I was joking with my friend earlier. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm just gonna find 2 cockroaches and paint one of them one color and the other one the other, and duke it out and just
go at it
and bet and just whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yes,
I'm good. How are you, man? How you doing?
Thanks for asking. I'm good. I'm good. So for me, because I do 10,000 different things, I have a puzzle station set up. I'm doing a puzzle. I'm doing the Mandalorian puzzle.
Nice.
Baby Yoda. And then I have that in the corner. And then I have my paint corner. I'm doing some painting. Then right behind me, I have my microphone and my keyboard. I'm doing music. Right here, I'm doing my writing. Then I have my huge giant garden, and all my plants and fruits are starting to come to fruition at the moment. Nice. So I've been outside picking fruit and picking plants, and I've been really busy. I mean, I've been doing all these interviews. I've been interviewing celebrities and non-celebrities and everybody in between, and my days go by fast. I'm like, it's 7 o'clock already. Okay, sure. And I've been home as of this recording 15 days. I have not left my property.
You haven't left at all for 15 days.
Nope.
Wow.
I have done my part, folks.
Not even go to the grocery store?
Nope.
Wow.
I stocked up that when they were telling me they're going to shut everything down, because for me, I work in Hollywood and I work in whatever, and that all within 2 days, that all shut down. All the studios say, close up, no shows, James. And I come, they close. We share microphones and stuff, so it's kind of like, they had to shut everything down. I went to Albertsons, and James Lott Jr. was like, get this, get this, get this, get this, get this.
Right.
And I got everything I could get, and I piled up in the car, and I was done. So I'm good for at least a couple, 2, 3 weeks. Back then, we didn't know how long it was going to be.
Right.
So I was like, at least for 2 or 3 weeks, I'm good.
Right.
Basic supplies, I have plenty of Lysol, I have plenty of all that stuff anyway. So I did one Instacart about 10 days ago, got a few items. I did one 2 days ago. I did Uber Eats, and took precautions, of course. But I'm not left. I've not left the perimeter of my estate. Okay, I don't live in an estate. I live in a nice house, but I live in my compound. I have to call it my compound. I have not left. And people are going to go, really? I go, no. Because I have a huge yard. It's a length of a block. So I can actually walk the whole thing. I do that sometimes. If I walk, I think 10 times, it's like a mile.
Oh, that's great.
So I do that. So I don't have to walk in the street either. I can stay in my yard and walk and listen to music or whatever. I play music I'm a little ghetto. I'll play music out the window. And it's all loud. They're like, turn it down. I'm like, oh, whatever. Come make me. No. And then I walk and I do that, and it's so I really don't have to leave. I know I'm running low on a few items, and so that'll be interesting to see kind of what I navigate with that. But this first 15 days, they've gone by fast actually. Because I just kind of now I'm watching Tiger King and I'm totally hooked, like everybody else is.
Oh yeah, that thing's crazy.
I'm binge watching shows that I wanted to catch up on. I did The Mandalorian. I did a show called Hentified. So like, my life is actually. I mean, I miss I miss media. I want to come down and see before the virus. I said I want to come down and see you and let's hang out. I miss that. I miss the in-person hanging out. But I've been more social now doing all these the last 2 weeks. I have been talking to people, talking to family, talking to people. Everybody's calling each other. It's like it's just way more social in a way than we're isolated, but we're social. It's really weird. It's really weird. So
I'm in general, I'm a cup half full kind of guy. I'm an optimist, and I'm just thinking, or maybe it's just the optimism in me that is hoping that this is in some ways a blessing in disguise. Not it's not a blessing by any means. I'm not even remotely indicating that, but I mean, I think we get so caught up in everything we're doing. Everything is a rat race. Everything is go, 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 go. Hey, let's go have dinner with our friends. And I've been so guilty of that too, where I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it and this and that. You know what I mean? And it just won't go. And I miss out on things. And maybe we'll all realize that, we should just really cherish every moment that we have with everyone and just, just live it up, man. That's all.
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't seen my mom in 2 weeks. I mean, I'm like, because they're older and their immune systems are compromised, so I haven't gone to their house. So I'll make sure I'm trying to protect them just in case, and I have it, but just in case, I won't be getting to them. And yeah, it's like appreciating people more, and also it's just been this thing of the air is cleaner, there's no traffic.
Right.
The nature, it's like every day is really beautiful here in Southern California. Kind of interesting.
Have you seen pictures of like Venice and of India and like of here, LA? Yeah. It's pretty striking.
Yes.
Of like what we actually do, right? Like it's pretty nuts.
It is. The difference.
So, like, yeah. Do you see like I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, for me, I love to travel, so I just can't wait till this is done so I can like travel. Man, I'm buying up plane tickets like I'm at a swap meet, bro.
Okay. I'm ready to go too. I'm ready to go. I got things I got to do. I'm like, I love Los Angeles, but I don't want to be here all the time. I like to go.
Right. But flights are so cheap right now for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I know. I think we should be. Yeah. I want to book, but the problem is you don't know when.
Right.
You don't know if this is going to be one more week of this, one more month of this, 6 months. Who knows? So it's like,
that's the part I think people are freaking out. And I try to tell myself, in the large scheme of things, a couple of months is just a blip in time space continuum. Like, you think about it, one day we'll look back and go, wow, wasn't that crazy? For 2 months we had to,
I had this idea, and I was telling my brother, I'm like, you know what? Hopefully this is all done by like mid-May. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's all done by mid-May. And I go, I have an idea. We should throw a massive party once it's allowed and we're all clear and all that stuff, right? We throw a massive party on May 31st for like, you know what I mean? And call that New Year's Eve. It's like, you know what? Let's just start 2020 over. It's only a 6-month year, but let's just start this bad boy over. This first bad.
I love that idea. Someone said, I saw a meme that said, wow, what a year this week has been. That's how I feel. I love that meme. It's so clever. It's like, that's how I feel.
Hilarious.
And my birthday's in mid-May, so I'm hoping it's over by then too.
There you go. I know. It's funny. They're saying that things will open up and be back to normal by June 10th. And I'm like, what? My birthday's June 9th, dude. Let's ramp that up a few days.
Hilarious.
I'm like,
that's hilarious.
Rewind that a couple days, please.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I'm May 10th, so I'm a month before you.
Oh, nice.
So I'm Mother's Day. My birthday, it falls on Mother's Day this year.
Oh, does it? Oh, wow.
So I don't know if it's my mother. That's the whole thing. I mean, I don't even know if we're going to be able to do that. So it's been very crazy. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you. Yes, one of the things I want to talk to you about, which I think is pretty amazing, and I want to hear how this even happened and what happened. You wrote a Super Bowl commercial that I saw at the Super Bowl when I was watching Super Bowl. I'm like, first of all, which commercial was it? Tell that first.
It was the Hyundai commercial, the Hyundai Sonata, the Smart Pack with John Krasinski, Chris Evans, and Rachel Dratch were there in Boston, being all Bostonian with the packing.
The packing, yeah.
Packing. If any Bostonians or any of our friends from the Commonwealth are listening, I will butcher the accent at some point in this interview, so my apologies.
I love it.
Yeah, it was me and my partner work. We work at this agency called InOcean. They're based in Huntington Beach, and we work on Hyundai. And our task was to promote the 2020 Hyundai Sonata and this specific feature that is called Remote Smart Parking Assist, which basically you push the button on the remote control and the car can move in and out without you being in it. So if you come outside of a coffee shop, somebody has parked, instead of doing that limbo shimmy thing, we've all been there. You just get out and do the thing. You know this. I'm a big Celtics fan. My dad's side is from Boston. So I was born in while I was born and raised in LA, I might as well have been a Bostonian, because growing up with my dad watching the Celtics and the Red Sox and the Pats, and you know, every single day of my life I heard my dad say he hates LA and how Boston is better. Without question.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, look at this stupid traffic. It's not like this in Boston. Meanwhile, Boston traffic is pretty bad too. But
it is. I've been there. It is. Yes.
Yeah. God bless my dad. This is just the way he was. So I just grew up with Boston in my DNA in that sense. You know, people always even ask me, like, how did you become a Celtics fan? And I'm like, well, I'll say this really quickly. My again, my birthday's in mid-June, or June 9th, right? So and I was born in '79. So during the heyday of the Lakers and Celtics in the '80s, you know,
rivalry.
It was always a finals game on my birthday.
Oh, so, how funny! Okay.
You know, it was always a finals game for my birthday. So it was, I think it was 85 or no, it was 86. It was 86. I think it was my 7th birthday. If it was 85, it would have been my 6th. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
That's like that.
And you know, every time it would be my birthday, my dad's side and my mom's side, they'd all come. Now, my dad's side is from Boston. My mom's side is all from LA. So my dad's side are all Celtic fans. My mom's side are all Laker fans. So there was this inherent rivalry on top of the rivalry.
Totally.
Which was great. And as a kid, you know, I was playing my Legos. I didn't really care as much. What happened one year, and I forgot the exact date, but it was coincidentally, for whatever reason, my dad's side had a funeral or something to go to. They couldn't make it to the party, so it was only my mom's side. So it's a bunch of Laker fans and my dad. And if you knew my dad, the man was kind of a big, you know, burly guy. Yeah. And people were scared of him because especially when it goatee, he would kind of have a scowl on his face. But I swear to God, he was an angel on earth. He was the nicest guy you ever made in your life.
Big teddy bear.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. He was a big teddy bear, one of the nicest guys. And this day happened to be, I think did they call it the Boston Massacre? I don't remember, but the Lakers killed him.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yes. Okay.
The Lakers killed him. And, you know, they were being like by 35. And my uncles were letting my dad have it. They were not letting up, you know, my mom's brothers. Yeah. And, you know, are we allowed to cuss on here? I don't want to.
Yeah, say a word or two if you want to. It's fine.
You know what I mean? Well, they were like, Larry Bird shit, this, that, whatever. You know, they're just saying things, right? Yeah. And they're like razzing my dad, and my dad just like sitting on the couch, like sad. And I remember I went and I sat next to him and I put my arm around him. I go, it's okay, Dad, I'll cheer with you. So from that moment on, I was Boston. I signed the lifetime contract in crayon at that point, and that was it. Now fast forward about 35 years, roughly. Me and my partner are at work, and we're thinking of ideas for smart park without, you know, remote smart park. What do we do? And we're coming with all these technical ideas, you know, technology related ideas and this and that. And then, you know, after a few hours of concepting, he had to go home to go pick up his son. And I'm like, you know, go ahead, bro. Do your thing. You know, we had like a week to come up with stuff. And this was like day 2 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, go ahead, bro. Family first. Go pick up your kid. And, you know, I'm just going to chill for a little bit. You know, I got to finish up some more work. And then, you know, whatever. I was doing my work, and then I looked at the clock, and it was only 4:30 our time. Okay. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm like, oh, you know what? The Celtics game is on. I watch every Celtics game because I have a league pass. I'm like, you know what? It's a good time, a little break.
Yeah.
I put on the Celtics game. And mind you, remote smart park and all that stuff is kind of in the back of my mind. I put on the Celtics game, and Tommy Heinsohn is an old Celtics legend, old school guy, thick Boston accent. He is the not the play-by-play guy, excuse me, that's Mike Gorman. He's the color commentator, you know what I mean? And he adds plenty of color and typically yelling at the refs. God bless him. That's what he does. Now, serendipitously, one of the players on the Celtics, his last name is Smart. Marcus Smart. Okay. So I'm watching the game, and Marcus Smart dives on the ball because that's what he does. And Tommy Heinsohn went nuts. It's like, what a play by Marcus Smart. Smart is everywhere. And the second he said Smart with the Boston accent, it was like,
Ding,
you
ding,
know,
ding.
I might as well, exactly. I'm going to look like Daffy Duck. It was like,
Oh, yeah.
right above.
Yes. Yeah. Ding.
I'm like,
light bulb.
oh,
Got it.
exactly. I was like, wait a minute. The Boston accent. That's right. I'm like, wait a minute. That's the way they say smart. Oh, and then it reminded me of, you know, Good Will Hunting. Hey, my boy's wicked smart, this and that. And then, you know, I was like, wait a minute, this car is wicked smart, this thing's smart. And, you know, the old cliche, it's a huge cliche in Boston, Packy can't have it, yeah, you know what I mean? But that's the way they say smart, that's how they say part, that's how they do this. I was like, wait a minute. I think there's something here. So I hit up my partner and I'm like, dude, I think I have something. And, you know, we talked it out a little bit and whatnot. And then I wrote up the first script at about like 1:00 in the morning that night. And then presented to the bosses and whatnot at our first creative director meeting. And it stood the test of time. And, you know, thankfully, and it was one of those things where it was just a simple mnemonic, you know, and it was basically, you know, it's just a card demo basically is what it is, you know what I mean? But in kind of a funny way, with them repeating the feature name over and over again, and like, you know, yeah, and I could park it anywhere, and to them anywhere is anywhere in Massachusetts, so that's why they're rattling off all the names and this and that. So that's kind of how it started. It was, you know, if it wasn't for my dad and my allegiance to the Celtics, this idea would not have come out. It just wouldn't, because it's just you know what I mean, when it's like it's in you and it's just like it's like at the surface. So cheers to my pops.
Yes.
And into the Celtics. So
here we go. No, but it's like,
I call you Big Game James, and I don't give many Laker references, but
I know that's why I laughed at that. Go Big Game James.
But James Worthy was clutch, and I respect that team, and you're clutch, and you're a good guy, dude. So cheers, dude.
But that's why I laughed at there. You said that, and I'm like, oh my god, you said that. I got that. So you know, okay. So one of my best friends, she's also a Celtics fan, and but she's not from Boston.
She's wicked smart, right?
From the Midwest. She's wicked smart. From the Midwest. I have friends from Dover. I have friends from we're from Plum Island. I mean, I have friends all that. I know. I've been to Boston, Maine. I love Boston. Actually, I was
great town, yeah.
Great town. But anyway, so she said she finally went to Boston for the first time and saw a Celtics game. She's like, James, we're all wearing green together. Like, I'm not the only person at the Staples Center wearing green. And like, I totally get it. Because I'm a Steelers fan from Pittsburgh. And so when I go to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, we're all in, you know, the same jersey. And like, I totally get. I mean, if you don't watch sports, you don't get it. But if you watch sports, you understand what she's saying. And I know you get it. I get it. I just like that's.
Absolutely. 100. I mean, especially growing up a Celtics fan in LA. I mean,
but the rivalry was deep.
I mean, even to this day, or actually, I mean, even when even like 5 years ago when the Lakers were not good at all. I'd still get the stink eye when they'd see my green hat, and I would love it. I would absolutely actually enjoy it. One of the last times I played basketball, I'm wearing my Larry Bird shirt playing basketball, because that's what you're supposed to do when you play basketball. Is wear Larry Bird shirt.
Yeah, of course.
And I do anyway. These people know me because I've been playing basketball with them 4 days a week for like 3-4 years. They don't even know my name. They just call me Boston.
That's so funny.
It's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
But it's fine. And somebody who didn't know me saw my shirt, and he was like, dude, F the Celtics, man. I was like, oh, dude, put it here, man. Respect. You know what I mean? He's like, what? I'm like, you're a Laker fan. He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, you should hate us. We hate you too.
Right, exactly.
This is what makes it fun.
I agree. I did that once. I went to Browns Stadium in Cleveland, which is a big rivalry between Steelers and Browns. And I had a great time with the Browns fans, because there was good old-fashioned ribbing. It's what guys do anyway. We talk shit to each other. That's what we do. And it was like, at the end of the day, we're watching something we both love to watch. Right. That's the point. You should not like us. I should not like you, in terms of, you know, team-wise.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for the next 3 hours, you're not my friend.
Right, exactly.
Before and after, you are. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so I tell you, so when you actually, I'm going to fast forward for a second. I'm going to go back and say, I'm going to fast forward. You watch the Super Bowl, you see, I'm sure you saw the finished product before that, of course, but when you see it on TV, What was your thoughts?
I gotta tell you,
saw it.
Being a copywriter, or anybody who is in the creative field of advertising, no pun intended, but that is the Super Bowl of.
You did right.
It really is like the Super Bowl of Super Bowls, if you will. The ultimate goal is to have a Super Bowl commercial, and I'll tell you what, the actual commercial was initially approved by the client. I want to say sometime in September.
It makes sense.
Mid-September. You know, yeah, because we originally wrote it sometime in August. But there's always this underlying feeling of anxiety of like, it could get killed at any time.
Right, no, right, until it airs, right, to anything, right.
Exactly. And, you know, we've been told that in the past from people like, hey, just, you know, just kind of, you know, hang on there. And I wasn't worried about it. I'm a positive person, but at the same time, yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, I couldn't wait. My brother, his name is Raymond, and he runs a law firm called Valiant Law. I'm giving him a plug because if I can, sorry, his Valiant, V is in victory, ALIANT Law. It's based out of the Inland Empire. He is the best employment lawyer in not just the state, in my opinion, the country. He's one of the best, no, without exaggeration. And there's a lot happening right now with people losing their jobs and whatnot. He's actually doing an IG live right now. So if you're watching this right now, you're probably already missing it, but hopefully he'll have some replays and whatnot. But if you have any questions, hit him up in Raymond.
Well, here's the thing. If he wants to be on my show, tell him to contact me and I will have
I should. You're right. Absolutely. No, he's hilarious.
You're
he's
funny, all right, so I'm sure.
Thank you. He's very much my brother. You'll see. And I know what will happen. I know exactly what will happen too. The second you see him, you're like, you look just like Eddie. And then he'll say, I'll make sure to tell Eddie to thank you for saying that. That's what he'll say. But God bless him. I have the best brother in the world, and he threw a huge party for me, and it was cool. Again, I was sitting there like this.
But did you cry? Did you get a little teary-eyed? Did you get your heartbeat fast? What happened, Eddie? What did you do?
You know what? I was actually a little bit anxious because they had told us the entire time exactly when it was going to happen. It was going to be right at the end.
Oh, you knew? Oh, okay.
We knew, yeah, because it's media placement. You buy the media ahead of time, so we knew when it was. So I was getting a little bit anxious, and they actually didn't play it when they were supposed to.
Oh.
And it was like, end of the first quarter, last batch of commercials, last one. Okay. Or first one of the last one, whatever it was. And I was like, oh, that's the next one. Oh, it's the next one. And it got to the point where people were like, dude, what's going on? And I'm like, it's fine. Texting the producer.
Like, hello,
what's going on? And my friends are talking smack. They're like, bro, you actually did this, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's going on. And then like it was like, you know, and they went back to the game, and then the second there was like another timeout, and then it was the first one that came on. It was very surreal, I will say.
Sure.
And it was extremely bittersweet is the only way I can put it, because my dad wasn't there. That was only. Yeah. You know, since he passed like 2 years ago, so that was the hardest part, because since he was such a big part of it, you know what I mean? You know, he was the most supportive dad you'd ever seen in your life. You know, just pushing. You know, you can do anything. There's nothing you can't do. And it was Boston related on top of it. You know, David Ortiz was in there. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking baseball with David Ortiz in between takes.
So you were on set when they were filming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, that's my next question. I didn't know that. Oh, good. Oh, so you got to talk. I love him. You got to talk.
Oh yeah. I met and got to talk to Ortiz and with Rachel Dratch, because we also did a social component where she was his dialect coach. She was teaching him how to speak Boston, because and a little fun fact, he was the only one in the commercial that's not from Massachusetts. John Krasinski's from, and that was intentional, because the whole commercial was actually a tribute to the city. It was not just hey, you guys have a funny accent. No, it was not. It was actually like my love for the city, my dad's love for the city, and just a tribute. And we wanted to make it as authentic as possible. And in doing so, we made sure that every single person that was cast in there is from Massachusetts. Krasinski's from Mass. Chris Evans is. Rachel Dratch is, obviously. Our director is from Swampscott. That's why we say Swampscott in one of the one of the locations. Who else? The delivery guy that's in there for about a second and a half. His name is Tony V. He's a huge Boston comic. He is freaking hilarious.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he's huge in Boston, and all of the extras were from Mass. Everyone. The only person not from Massachusetts in the commercial was Ortiz, but he's a god in Boston. Wayne's World, we're not worthy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so he gets a pass. But yeah, I mean, I was there, and we were in the what's called Video Village. And what's basically they're on the street, and we were up like where Ortiz was in that second story thing. We were right next to him in like an apartment with like screens and whatnot. We weren't actually outside, partially because it was raining and partially just not to get in the way of the director and whatnot. But we're watching all the takes and whatnot, and then one of the producers comes in. She's got her walkie on, thing on. She's like, "Hey guys, David Ortiz is gonna be here in 5 minutes, so just hang tight. We'll be here in 5." And I turned to my creative directors and I was like,
"Ah!" Exactly.
And they're like, "Eddie, calm." I said, "No, it's cool. It's cool.
Get it out now, but I'll be okay."
I might shriek like one time. Just give me one shriek. This is David. It's freaking Big Papi over here. Forget about it. I'm like, give me just one shriek. And then the second he goes up, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, good. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you so much." You know what I mean? And then, but yeah, he was super cool. Everyone was awesome. You hear these horror stories of like some celebrities being divas and whatnot. None of them. They were all just the most genuine, the nicest people, on time, so professional. And people sometimes wonder, like, these big Hollywood actors, why do they get paid so much? You know why? Because they're pros, and can I tell you something? We had what we needed on the first take.
Wow.
They are that. They are that.
They're that.
Like we legitimately could have made the commercial in one take. If I mean, no one does that. Obviously, we did it 100 times to get what we needed to make it as good as possible. But they're so good. Every one of them on cue, on point. And they would even catch themselves before the director would have to say anything. You know what? I don't like the way I said that. Let's do it again. And that was the most impressive thing to me, was because you're dealing with big stars, like we're talking about big time Hollywood celebs. It's freaking Captain America, Jack Ryan, Jim Halpert. You know what I mean? Right. And you can't help but think, oh well, they're just coming here because they're getting paid. They're gonna do the commercial and they're gonna go home. They were so into it, and they were so like they care so much about their craft, and it was really cool. It was really cool to see. But yeah, I got to spend more time with Ortiz and Dratch because we actually did that social component. She's a sweetheart.
Oh, good. I like her too. She's good.
Dude, look, it's so funny. Like the dialect. Did you see the dialect coach, the social component? I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like like a minute. It's like a minute long. It's and she sat down on the couch and stuff. She's like, "Oh, where's the script?" And I handed her the script, and I kid you not, dude, this is what she does. She's like this. "Okay, I'm ready whenever you guys are." And I was like, I mean, mind you, she does like 5-minute monologue, all that stuff. All the stuff they have to memorize to do live.
But to see it in person, to see her quick sheet, I mean, that's...
Yeah, and she just like, she went to Yale, if I'm not mistaken. So she's,
a smart cookie.
And Krasinski went to Brown, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
And I forgot where Evan, they're all a bunch of smart cookies, yeah. So yeah, she nailed it in the first go as well. It was just really cool to see. And yeah, it was, I was a little nervous meeting Ortiz, only because, they say, careful meeting your heroes or whatever it is. I'm a huge fan of his, not just as a Red Sox fan, but just as a person. You watch the MLB playoffs and he's just, he's just a fun-loving guy. He's just a dude you want to have a beer with. You know what I mean? And I'm like, please just be
Please
that guy.
way. Please be that way. Please be that way.
What you see on TV is how he is in person.
I like that.
Such
Actually, a lot of them, you know, I work in Hollywood, so a lot of them actually are. I mean, there are a few divas, but not that many really. I mean, I think what people forget is that they are. I mean, we say it's cliche to say, but it's true. They are regular folks like us who just want to do good work. They want to look good, so they want to do good work. And many of them are very nice because they get to do something incredible. I mean, they know what they're doing is incredible in a sense that it's like, I don't have to dig ditches or whatever. I could do this for a living.
Right.
Money. You know what I mean? And it's like, and they appreciate it actually. And the acting world is so fickle as it is anyway. You be up 1 minute, down the next. You gotta be careful who you're nice to or not nice to.
Right. Yeah, Krasinski was a waiter before he got the Office gig.
See?
No, he's just. Have you seen his show? The new show he put out?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No, I heard it's good.
It's called. He just started it. It's on a YouTube show. It's called Some Good News.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard. I hear everything, of course. But I heard that. I heard it was actually it was decent. So I have it.
You know. I just appreciate somebody taking the time to put good news out there. And I gotta tell you, in the last 2 weeks, I've only gone on social media a handful of times. Yeah. I don't go on there anymore. It's just like.
No, it's too much. That's why I do these because I'm just putting out stuff that's like not virus related.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
But
that's great.
Yeah, it was.
So you had the Super Bowl of Super Bowls of writing. You had the Super Bowl ad. I mean, that's amazing because I thought that's like winning an Oscar or getting a Grammy. It's really like this thing. It's like this has been seen by over 1 billion people. See these things every year. These commercials. The commercials are like legendary. They're known. It's like it's a big deal. So I was like, I know why you did one. I'm like, okay, I know why you wrote one.
Right.
And you never really think about the writers. It seems like
right.
Think about the stars in it, obviously, the product itself, and maybe the director. But you don't want to think about like the folks that actually write the copy that the actors think that they say.
Right. And I gotta say, I mean, we're so blessed to have such a great team. Like I gotta tell you, man, it takes a village to put something like this together. All of the producers, all the business affair people who like they had to talk to their agents and their agents, and all the creative directors who chipped in to help make the script even better from the beginning. You know what I mean? Obviously, from the first draft to the final draft, there's the bones of the concept are all there, but everyone pitching in to just make it better and genuinely, there were no egos involved. It was overall such a great process. It was just really cool to happen. And to have it happen in Boston was just even extra special. I actually did something while I was there, and I was actually going to post about it this week. My dad was actually in the Air Force during Vietnam, 68 to 72. And my dad had basically, I don't know how many loves this would be, I have to count it, but God, his family, the Air Force, and Boston. You know what I mean? It's just like, and Chevron, we owned a Chevron.
Okay,
and,
sure.
And Costco. Okay, six. in no particular order, with exception to God, one, and family, two. You know what I mean?
Everything else could be whatever.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, exactly. Everything else you kind of, do whatever you want. But I wanted to leave a part of my dad in Boston because it was so important for him. So I had his dog tags, and I actually went and I found one of his. He had a lock. He collected master locks for whatever reason.
Okay. So we collect things for
whatever. We owned a gas station, and he was a mechanic, and I think he used them to lock up all the bays. Okay. So I think it kind of makes sense why he had them. But he had one in a box that was never opened and never used, and it was like gold plated, and it was a Chevron. It had a Chevron logo engraved on it. So I locked it onto his dog tags, and I threw it in the Charles River right by Harvard. And I filmed it. Or one of my friends filmed it. So it was important for me. I left a part of him in Boston, but. Cool. So yeah, the entire thing it was very surreal. I gotta tell you, it was like
a full circle moment.
I really did, and it was one of those things where it didn't really hit me until I was on the flight to Boston. Because the whole is going, hey Eddie, we need this change. We gotta make this change. We gotta do this. We gotta do this. There's a lot going on. Plus I teach, on top of it, a couple of nights a week. So like, there's just a lot happening. But when on the flight, and I'm like, I got my headphones on, I was watching the Goonies, you know what I mean? I know. Come on, bro.
Great, great. Hello, I love that.
Classic, right?
That's
And
right.
I'm watching the Goonies, and all of a sudden I was like, going to Boston to film a commercial. Huh. You know what I mean? And it's like I've known it for months, but it was one of those things where I'm like, wow, we're actually doing this. This is crazy.
It hit you. It's like suddenly you were able to stop your mind for a second,
Yeah.
and comprehend what's actually going on. That's
Exactly.
really,
Yeah.
because you're in the middle of creating, in the middle of preparing. No, it
Right.
really does. You're just busy. Your mind's just busy. Now
Exactly.
you're like,
Yeah.
okay, it could have happened to you when you're at the hotel. It could have happened anywhere. It could happen anywhere for you. But like,
Right.
country, and you're like, okay, you're 35,000 feet in the air.
Exactly. Yeah.
Watching the '80s film.
Exactly.
And they thought you like. I think it's very cool. I think it's very, very cool. I just think what I want to ask you is that I'm a creator myself, content creator myself, so I know I kind of probably know this answer, but do these things come that fast normally? You said it was within a week it kind of came to fruition, kind of the idea concept.
Yeah.
Get out. I mean, is it? I mean, probably, I'm sure it varies, but I mean, do you have something come that fast, or something take like a long time to get to?
More times than not, it's a gradual process.
Okay.
More times than not, and it's just one of those things that just like, the easiest analogy I can give is like an avalanche. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You start out with just like a little tiny ball of snow, and then you like gradually like, you add to it, take some part, add to it, and then just slowly builds and builds and builds and builds, and then you finally have that moment. Typically it takes a little bit longer. What what I do, and this is what I teach in my classes, is like, we were not just trying to come up with a commercial for the sake of coming up with a commercial. I got to tell you, one of the things is one of my biggest pet peeves is as an advertiser, and like I always say this to my classes. One of the things I actually typically hate Super Bowl commercials myself, because most of them are really bad. Most of them are bad, and the reason I say that is because most of the time, not all the time, there were some really good ones this year. Most of the time, they're using celebrity for the sake of celebrity. And it's like, oh, yay, Cardi B.
So together, see what happens. Right.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, really? I'm supposed to believe that Cardi B is that excited about Pepsi? Sorry. You know what I mean? No disrespect. You know what I mean, though? And it's just like, oh, it's Cardi B, and then it's this person, and it's Steve Carell, and this person, and this or that. And it's like, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the commercial and all that stuff, but it's like, it just feels really forced. You know what I mean? And there's typically no idea behind it.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we're advertising this thing. We spent a ton of money. Yay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. One of the things that we tried to do was, actually have an idea and actually have an insight, we try to come up with. And like, the insight is very simple for this commercial. People are really bad at parking. People can't drive, let alone park.
Oh my
so
God.
The Hyundai geniuses have created this feature that helps you park better. You know what I mean? So then, like, coming with a Boston thematic and then using Bostonians to play that up, but no, it typically takes longer. You do your research, and you come with a bunch of ideas that go absolutely nowhere. I'll tell you, our first meeting with our creative directors, we presented 13 ideas. This was the first one. There were 12 other ones that died,
died on the vine.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Some were just handed walking papers. Others were decapitated the guillotine. That's just the way it goes. And then the next round we came back with revisions to Smart Park and 5 other new ones. You know what I mean? So, I mean, all in all, our creative directors looked at over 350 scripts almost. You know what I mean? To find the one.
Right.
And, it's just, we were blessed that was the one. And it was just because it was just really simple, and it was just kind of a simple device and whatnot. But sorry, I'm giving you a long-winded answer, but typically it takes longer, the creative process. You come up with an idea, and it's, oftentimes you have to get lost before you can get found.
Like that.
What I would say. You know what I mean? You have to know where you're, I hit a dead end. No, it's not that way. You have to know where not to go to know where to go. So,
I'm a songwriter. I know exactly what that feels.
Exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. But for this one, this is kind of a unique situation. Even though we knew the inside people are bad at parking, this and that, all that was in the back of my head and back of my partner's head. The second I heard smart, I was like, yes.
That's something. I mean, I think the thing is, accents are always funny, but it could have gone wrong. Like you have to make sure, because it's not just it could be just a prop that doesn't work, but you made yours work, and it's something that actually it works on several levels. Like I'm from New York, so that's the thing. You say walk the dog and get some coffee. I mean, it could be totally cartoonish,
right,
in a way that doesn't work. But if you do it the right way, then it's funny and it's very New York. So I think
I tell you what, that was exactly why me and the team were adamant that whoever was in this had to be from Massachusetts.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
There are people like trying to think. Have you seen The Town with Ben Affleck?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's in Boston. Him and Jeremy Renner. They're the Boston guys, and they rob banks.
Yeah.
They wear like nun masks and they rob banks and whatnot. Tony V is also in there. He's the cable guy.
He's working out there.
Good guy.
Yeah.
What's it called? Can you hear me? I think you went. Or did you go silent?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. What's it called? So Ben Affleck obviously is from Boston, from the area. I think he's from Cambridge or I forgot where.
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner's a New Yorker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he is too.
But he does the Boston accent really well. I mean, for me, it's really well. I don't know. Bostonians need to weigh in on that. But we very easily could have reached out to him. But I was adamant. I'm like, no, they have to be from Massachusetts. I don't want anyone thinking, oh, here we go. People are mocking the accent.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that was the thing. It was funny because my partner, he's born and raised out here too, and he's a Laker fan. But it's okay. No one's perfect. Okay. No one's perfect.
We still love you. It's okay. I know what you're saying inside. It's okay. I'm still your partner. I'm still your friend.
It's Chris. He's a great guy. And he's like, you know what? I think the Bostonians are gonna love this, but I wonder how the rest of the country's gonna take it. And I said, I gotta tell you that the only state I'm worried, or the only region I'm like worried about is New England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're very like, I don't want to say touchy about it, but it's like it's part of them.
Yes.
And if somebody was to it's the same thing. You understand New York? You know what I mean? If you're from New York and someone's doing a New York accent and they do it properly and they're from New York and they're doing it justice for an actual reason, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's funny, okay, cool. But if it's just people, hey, I'm from New York, you're like, hey, get out of here, bro. I'm not watching this crap. What is this nonsense? So I gotta say, the biggest praise for us was seeing all the comments on YouTube and on social and whatnot from people who were like, I'm from Massachusetts and this is the best thing I've ever seen. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, thank God, And actually, I did a brief interview on a WBZ 1030 Boston, talking about it and stuff. And, the guy was, there was some praise for it from them and stuff. And I'm like, that was the whole point. It's while it is a car commercial, first and foremost, we're selling car 2020 Hyundai Sonata with most more parking says, great car. While we are doing that,
right.
It was, like I said, it was a tribute to the city, and little do most people know, it was a tribute to my dad. So it was just, it was kind of all encompassing
I love it.
thing. But
congratulations.
Sorry, I'm rambling. What other questions? What do you got?
No, you did great. I mean, that was good. I mean, we're gonna end it on that because I think we ended on your dad. That's what we ended on your dad. That's so.
I appreciate it.
You had a full circle moment that I think that a lot of us in this business, we get them sometimes, and I've had a few. I've had a few in my career too, and I think it's just how lucky are we that we can do what we love to do and have these moments and pay tributes to people that we care about in our work. Not all industries do that. That's not how that always works.
Right.
We're in creative realm. It can actually happen sometimes, and I think that's the beauty of this, that we get to do that. So it's very cool.
Super cool. Absolutely. I'd love to hear about your other stories, man. Nick, when we can actually get together and have coffee or a drink or something.
I know, hello. I mean, we're working towards it, and then the virus thing happened and cut everything off. I contact you, so I want to come see you. I want to come down. You're like, sure. And then like all of a sudden,
I'll meet you in a parking lot. We'll do like the drive thing and just, give keep your windows rolled up. We'll be on Bluetooth. Just to say hi. Hey, did you see this video that's going out? Sorry, I don't know this.
Yes, I love it. I know what you're talking about. I talked about it on another podcast. I don't know if it's real or not, but I'm all for it. I'm living for it.
God, I hope it's real.
I hope it's real. I hope it's real so much that folks know what we're talking about. I'm gonna leave it at that because I want you guys to. It's this video's going out. These two people and they're trying to. It's crazy. I hope it's real. I hope it's not a stunt. I'm like, please don't be a stunt. Please be for real because I want to see that.
I want to believe some things online are still organic. Too. But yeah, that's great.
Me too. So I know you're talking about. I talked about it on 3 different podcasts already. I'm not gonna talk about it again because people will be like, James, get off the video. But I do hope that video is true. I hope so. Eddie Babaian, you are the best. Tell people where they can actually find you and stuff on social media and things like that.
I am on social, obviously.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of how you can get into it. I mean, I'm on Facebook, obviously. I'm on Instagram. My handle is ed_word, WORD_17. Little pun on Edward and Edward. Whatever.
Yes. You're like, whatever.
My given
your handle, you're like, whatever. You're like, whatever.
My given name's Edward, But so yeah, ed_word_17 is me.
You're so funny. You're like, I made that up and I don't care.
That's
like, who cares?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. It was kind of a joke for myself. People are like, you're a dork. I'm like, I know. That's part of my MO. I'm very well aware of that.
And where can they find your book?
Oh, yeah. So it's called The Adventures of Little Kenny. It's a book I wrote with Kenny Anderson, former NBA legend and all-around good guy. The dude is a saint. I got to tell you, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your life. It's a story of him growing up in New York and how basketball basically saved his life. It's on Amazon. It's called The Adventures of Little Kenny, LIL_Kenny. Yeah, available on Amazon if you want to take a look. It's a kid's book, probably for 6 to 10 age range. I guess you would say somewhere around there.
Around there.
And
there's gonna be a volume 2. There's gonna be a volume 2.
There is. I've actually written the other volumes. It's just they're kind of in production. We've had a halt in production for various reasons. I won't waste your time with. But they're going to be coming out. It is a 7-part series.
Okay.
It's 7 parts because he wore number 7 for the Celtics and.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. I like that.
It's a biblical number. It's good. It's a good omen.
Yes, it is. It's good. Yeah, it's in the Bible. It's a good.
Exactly.
It's a good number. It is.
So I don't know when part 2 will be coming out. Hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, check it out. If anybody who does, I would greatly appreciate it. Obviously, it's a good book, and it's just it's not just talking about his life in basketball and how he found it, but how each one of them has a little life lesson in it, practice is important and all that good stuff. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So per you guys, I'm James Lott Jr. This is In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. And you can follow us on all of the streaming platforms. I mean, this show is everywhere from iHeartRadio to Spreaker.com to Deezer to Spotify, Pandora, Google, Apple Podcasts. It's everywhere. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment on that. And then also we have a page, In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. on Facebook. You can follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. and also media platforms. Everyone stay safe and sane. Eddie, I love you. Thanks for doing it.
Cheers, buddy. Salute.